Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for this segment today. I'm Anthony Smith, Strategic Executive Producer and Lead Economist here at FreightWaves, and today I have the honor of being joined by Anton Albrand, Divisional Vice President and Chief Revenue Officer of SkyBitz. Anton, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to being here.
So, Anton, just jumping into it, there's a lot going on right now within the industry. We have 3G sunsets, we have LTE, 5G, a lot of action going on. What does this all mean for trucking, transportation, and IoT?
So yeah, I think there's 5G, LTE, 3G sunsets are certainly top of mind. If they're not, they should be. But let me maybe just take a step back that I think there's some market confusion about what 5G means versus 4G. Is the 3G sunset going to leapfrog 4G and go to 5G? And I think that there's some clarity there. Certainly when it applies to trucking, transportation, or industrial IoT solutions. You really aren't going to be operating on a 5G network if you're operating a trucking, transportation, IoT solution for a while. And those networks are being built out. They're in their infancy, and they're going to support more of a consumer model. In terms of a value driver for bandwidth and IoT applications, it's just not there yet. So 5G is a ways out. It's going to be a 10 to 15-year development process. In the meantime, we're going to operate on 4G LTE networks, which, as the name suggests, LTE stands for long-term evolution. We're going to be on this network for quite a while, and as the name suggests, it's going to be here. So communication in the field is going to operate on that. And then 3G, just in general, so I think the last date I got was AT&T will be shutting down or starting to not support their network February 2022, and Verizon will follow later, about 10 months. I think it's December of 2022. So we've got a little bit of time here, more time with Verizon than AT&T, but it's a big undertaking for trucking and transportation to make this conversion. So yeah, lots going on, lots to do.
So, Anton, there's a lot of noise in the marketplace, and I can only imagine the entire migration process for this whole new era. What recommendations can you give to a company that is navigating this new era?
Sure. When you look at transportation, trucking companies, they have really one of the biggest challenges when you have to plan and execute against a new implementation of upgraded technology. You've got, first of all, you got the tractor component or the power component of the solution, which is heavily reliant on ELDs. It gives you your hours of service. It gives you your maintenance, your mileage. It also gives you camera functionality for driver behavior and management. So that's one piece of it, and that alone is a massive project to go and make a conversion. On top of that is a transportation trucking company. You're going to have trailers, you have a fleet of trailers, and typically those trailers are 2 to 4x the amount of power equipment you have. So the capacity side on the trailer, chassis, container is even more complex in some ways because you don't have that access to power, and they can be all over the place. So it's definitely a challenge. It's very inconvenient. It's probably the best way to put it for a trucking transportation company to go through this process. And if you're going through, a selection and deciding how you want to approach this, I think you look at who's your current provider, or in the case you're looking to change, how do you go about that? What's the thought process of what do I need to do? And there's certainly a lot of components to that. You really want to have a company, hopefully in your corner, that's been through this, that's done sunsets before, that understands the complexity of it, that has planned for this already on your behalf and has the wherewithal to do it. What I mean by that is that you've built an organization, you have the capital to support the inventory needs, and you've already kind of gotten ahead in terms of a methodology or project management standpoint, how to really take a plan and put it into an action. And, depending on the fleet size, it could be, hundreds, it could be, tens of thousands of trailers out there that you have to address. And you have a short window to do it. So, getting ahead of it is huge. But you really want to have a partner that is going to be there and able to support you and has the experience and has that proven methodology of project management. They're going to have the inventory deployment. They're going to have the teams out there, the installers coordinated. the locations all vetted, and really understand how to put it together, and then also, execute it, as a team with the customer, from beginning to end.
So, Anton, one of the things that you just said that really stuck out to me is getting ahead of this is huge. Can a company ride this out for a while and still be okay? Or is this something that they need to adapt as soon as possible?
Oh gosh, the latter for sure. I would strongly urge companies that haven't already planned for this to plan starting right now, this minute. It's that important. It's that urgent, and there's just no time to wait at this point. It's only going to get harder the longer the clock ticks here, and it starts to become more of a sense of urgency. The companies that are now stepping into kind of either the planning or the execution of that plan to convert are going to allocate are going to take up a lot of the inventory and a lot of the installation services time, and there's a good chance that the inventory won't be available when they are ready, or they won't be able to get an installer out in the field to actually do the installation services, because everybody's going to be so tied up and resources are going to be already claimed to support various projects, and it's just going to be a very challenging proposition as you get further and further into this deadline. So absolutely take advantage of the time now, work with the provider to get ahead of it and plan and build out a reasonable time frame. Most IoT companies that have been through sunsets are well experienced in this, are well versed in this, and have experience, and it's good. And we certainly pride ourselves on having an organization to support this type of sunset. We've been through them several times, and you really you need that experience, that expertise out in the field, a proven methodology that is going to bring all those value drivers into that project and ensure that you have a successful deployment installation process, and as well as more affordable one. And that's a big part of it, is the costs are going to go up the closer you get to the window, or you may get pushed out and your assets could go dark, which I want to touch on. The other side of it is, if you don't do this, is you will start to see assets go dark, and that's very difficult when you have trailers out in the field and they're in locations that are really difficult to get to, and you don't know if you lose them when you'll be able to find them again. So even on the power side, that's certainly an issue as well. But I think if you can get ahead of this, obviously, as soon as possible, you just don't want to end up in a situation where you lose that communication and that ability to track and have visibility of your assets in the field by waiting. It will be disastrous. Yeah.
Anton, it definitely sounds like there's not only a lot of advantages, but a lot of incentives as well to converting as soon as possible. And I know we're here excited to see what's next for SkyBitz as you partner and help roll out this new era. Anton, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.